Is this the nature of political leaders, or have they been conditioned by the environment?
No, I would not like, I agree with you, but I would not like to use the word being conditioned by the environment, because when you say that, then you are trying to exculpate the leadership that they are victims of the environment. They are not victims of the environment. They are the perpetrators of the environment. They are the ones responsible for maintaining, for instigating this environment in which the individual interest overrides collective interest. Unlike in a country like China, for example, they ensure that even though they are capitalists or they are going capitalist, the collective interest must always override that of individual interest. So I told you before that it has to do with the ethos. We have everybody, every society is based on an ethos. And the ethos of this country, I repeat, from about the late 70s, is that every individual must be allowed to seek his own good. And in doing so, the common good, the assumption is that the common good will be served.
All right,
now, without moderation,
let's get this in. We're running out of time, if you will. Let's quickly just get this one in. Now, why is it then that the EFCC has not complained about the challenge they face? Because time and again we get to ask them, not just this one, the previous leaderships of the same commission, we ask them categorically, are you being hampered by the system or the presidency or the minister of attorney general, I should say? And their answer has always been, and perhaps now if you ask them it will be, no.
I'm surprised. Okay, I'm surprised because you are Nigerians, and I know you guys to be very, very enlightened. How do you expect the functionary of government to claim that government is hampering him? Remember about 2 days or 3 days ago, you had engineer Okebiorun, the Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, on your program, in which he was saying that everything was virtually okay, until you questioned him further, because I happen to have been the chairman of the ministerial committee to study and restructure the Federal Fire Service, a country that has no fire hydrants. Of course, we don't even have enough water to drink, let alone have fire hydrant on the streets. We don't have a number that anybody could call, except in Lagos State that has, is it 912? You have a station in Enugu whereby the fire people have to rely on coupons to go to water vendors whenever they hear, to go and fetch water whenever they hear about fire. But here the Controller General was on your program saying that everything was okay until you question further. So why I gave that example is to point out that you do not expect Farida, you do not expect Lamode to say that government is hampering them. Of course they are hampered by government. I ask them, what is the number of their staff relative to the problem on the ground? I ask them, what is their budget relative to what they need to do the job very well? The government purposely is sabotaging both EFCC and ICPC from doing the work because they are not giving them the instruments they need. If you go to Hong Kong, if you go to other countries where they are serious about corruption, you know the devotion of funds, of staff, of resources to such agencies.
All right, Prof, just say this before you leave. Excuse me. If we were to demonstrate seriousness in tackling this problem, what key things would you like to see the government do?
One thing I would like to see the government do, in addition to appropriate funding and supply of personnel to these agencies, is government should honestly apply that formula that I've given. For every officer, randomly ask for the goods and services he consumes, the assets he has, the savings he has, and subtract from this his legitimate income, whatever is the balance. If you cannot explain it, then of course it should be subjected to investigation for corruption. I didn't say guilty. If you do that, if you apply that to 5% across the board, you will see effect in no time. And of course, government, in addition, should be able to tell itself, as well as in the judiciary and the National Assembly, that those who have been accused of corruption should at least step aside until the case is quickly disposed of. Now, that will give the impression to the population and to will-be corrupt people that you cannot do this and get away with it. But what we are doing is behaving like an ostrich in terms of the fight against corruption.